When you wake up in the morning, the first battle you fight is in your mind. Long before you take a step, long before you lift a weight, long before you open your laptop, the war is already happening in your thoughts. That's why if you don't train your mind first, the rest of your day doesn't stand a chance. Success doesn't start with muscles. It doesn't start with money. It doesn't start with connection. It starts with connection. It starts with mentality. The difference between people who quit and people who keep going isn't always talent. It's the strength of their mindset. You can have all the gifts in the world, but if your mind is weak, your gifts will never manifest. Every day you must train your thoughts because your thoughts are the foundation for everything else you will do. Training your mind means learning how to control the conversation in your head. Most people let negative thoughts dominate them. They hear, I can't, I'm not enough, this is too hard, and they accept it as true. But winners don't accept every thought. They challenge it. They confront it. They replace it with something stronger. That's why you have to be intentional about what you feed your mind. You wouldn't put poison in your body and expect to stay healthy. So why would you put poison in your brain and expect to succeed? The books you read, the words you listen to, the people you surround yourself with, all of that is training. If you want to be resilient, you have to feed yourself resilience. If you want to be disciplined, you have to surround yourself with discipline. Training your mind also means practicing focus. Too many people are distracted by everything around them. Social media, gossip, negativity, comparison. But focus is a muscle. You have to train it. That means learning to say no to things that don't serve your vision. That means setting boundaries with people who waste your time. That means creating routines and habits that keep you locked in on your goals. Every day when you sit down to work, you are training your focus. Every time you push away a distraction, you are strengthening your mental muscle. And the stronger that muscle gets, the easier it becomes to lock in when it matters most. Another part of training your mind is building discipline. Discipline is not about what you feel like doing. It's about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Feelings are temporary, but discipline builds permanence. You don't wait to feel motivated. You train your mind to act even when motivation is gone. Champions don't rely on moods. They rely on discipline. Every day, when you wake up early, even though you want to stay in bed, when you eat clean, even though you crave junk, when you study, even though you rather scroll, you are training your mind to obey your purpose, not your feelings. You also have to train your mind to see pressure as an opportunity, not a threat. When life gets hard, most people panic or retreat. But if you've trained your mind, you see difficulty differently. Pressure becomes the gym where your resilience is built. Stress becomes the weight that makes you strong. Challenges become lessons instead of losses. You stop asking her, why me? And start asking her, what is this teaching me? That shift in perspective is the result of mental training. You don't get there by accident. You get there by daily conditioning your mind to think like a champion. And finally, training your mind means visualizing success. You have to see it before you achieve it. Every day, you should be rehearsing your victory in your mind. See yourself finishing the race. See yourself delivering the presentation. See yourself breaking the record. See yourself living the life you're chasing. Visualization is mental rehearsal, and the more you practice it, the more prepared you become. The mind doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined scenario and a real one. So when the real test comes, your brain responds like it's already been there before. That confidence comes from mental training. So when I tell you every day is a training day, I don't just mean in the gym or on the field. I mean in your thoughts. From the moment you wake up, you're either training your mind to win or training your mind to quit. Every decision, every habit, every word you speak is shaping the way you think. And the way you think is shaping the way you live. If you master your mind, your body will follow. If you conquer your thoughts, your actions will line up. But if you neglect your mind, it won't matter how hard you train in other areas. You'll always fall short. That's why the very first place you must start every single day is with your mind. It's easy to look at success and think it's built on one big breakthrough moment, one massive achievement, or one lucky break. But the truth is, greatness isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows of daily discipline. It's not what you do once in a while that determines where you end up. It's what you do every single day when nobody's clapping, when nobody's watching, when nobody even knows what you're up to. Small habits are the bricks. And if you lay them down consistently, they will eventually build the house of your dreams. Too many people are chasing big results without respecting small, consistent effort. They want the reward, but they ignore the routine. The people you admire didn't get there overnight. They showed up day after day, year after year, and the little things compounded until they became unstoppable. Think about it like this. Brushing your teeth once doesn't give you clean teeth for life. Eating healthy for a week doesn't transform your body forever. Reading a single book doesn't make you wise. But brushing twice a day for years, choosing clean food over junk meal after meal, feeding your mind knowledge day after day, that's what transforms you. Habits are invisible at first. They don't show immediate results. That's why most people quit. They want to see change now. But the secret of champions is that they trust the process even when they can't see the progress. They understand that small disciplines today are invisible victory that will become undeniable results tomorrow. Every single habit is a seed, and seeds don't sprout overnight. You don't plant a seed in the ground today and eat fruit tomorrow. You water it, you protect it, you nurture it daily. The roots grow before the fruit shows. And that's the same with your habits. Waking up early might not seem like it's changing your life today, but it's building consistency. Studying an hour a day might not seem like much, but it's sharpening your mind. Saving a little money each week might feel insignificant, but it's setting you up for financial stability. All those small habits are growing roots beneath the surface. And one day, those roots will support the fruit of success that everyone else will see. But here's the catch. You can't just do the small things sometime. You can't work hard for a week and then disappear. You can't be disciplined in the morning and reckless in the evening. Consistency is the key that unlocks compounding. Just like a drop of water hitting the same spot on a rock can eventually carve a hole, your daily habits shape your future. Repetition is power. Every time you repeat a habit, you're casting a vote for the type of person you are becoming. Wake up early enough times, and you become a disciplined person. Speak positively to yourself enough time, and you become a confident person. Push yourself enough times, and you become a resilient person. Your identity is shaped by your repeated actions. The danger is that bad habits work the same way. If you're lazy every day, you're training yourself to quit. If you procrastinate daily, you're teaching yourself to avoid responsibility. If you make excuses every day, you're building a foundation of weakness. Every habit, whether good or bad, compounds. That's why you can't afford to take your daily habits lightly. You're either building strength or you're building weakness. There's no neutral ground. And don't underestimate how ordinary the habits can look. Success isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it's as simple as making your bed, showing up on time, being polite, sticking to your schedule, finishing what you start. These aren't flashy, but they build a structure in your life that makes bigger things possible. If you can't manage the little discipline, you won't be trusted with bigger opportunities. Excellence in the small things prepares you for excellence in the big things. So the question is, what are you doing daily that's preparing you for your dream? Don't tell me what you want. Show me your habits and I'll tell you where you're going. If you want to be healthy, your daily food and exercise choices will prove it. If you want to be wealthy, your spending and saving habits will prove it. If you want to be successful, your learning and working habits will prove it. Stop wishing for the big results without being willing to commit to the small discipline. The greats didn't wait for motivation to show up. They built systems, routines, and rituals that made their discipline automatic. They didn't rely on feelings. They relied on structure. You can't control when you feel motivated, but you can control your habits. And when your habits are strong, they will carry you through the days you don't feel like it. That's why habits are more powerful than moves, because they work even when your feelings don't. If you truly want to transform your life, stop asking for overnight miracles and start respecting the power of daily habits. When the pressure comes, it doesn't create who you are, it reveals who you already are. That's why training is so critical. Life will test you whether you're ready or not. The moment will come when the weight of responsibility falls on your shoulders, when the challenge feels bigger than your strength, when everything you've been talking about gets put to the test. And in that moment, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall to the level of your preparation. The reason some people crumbled under pressure is because they didn't train for it. They wanted to shine in the spotlight, but didn't grind in the dark. The truth is simple. Pressure exposes your preparation. Think about an athlete. On game day, when the crowd is screaming, when the cameras are on, when the score is tied, they don't suddenly learn how to perform. They fall back on the drills they did thousands of times in practice. The muscle memory they build in training takes over. That's why champions put so much effort into preparation, because they know the game is won long before they step onto the field. Life works the same way. The promotion at work, the exam at school, the opportunity of a lifetime, these aren't won in the moment. They're won in the preparation leading up to the moment. Pressure simply shows whether you prepare or not. Some people complain that life is unfair when they're hit with challenges, but champions expect a test. They know that storms are guaranteed, and instead of running from them, they prepare for them. They condition their minds to stay calm when chaos hits. They strengthen their skills so they can handle whatever comes. They practice discipline daily, so when distractions show up, they're not swayed. That's what preparation looks like. You don't get ready when the storm hits. You stay ready because you train for it in advance. And here's the thing. Pressure doesn't just test your skill, it tests your character. Anybody can look confident when things are easy, but what happens when life puts you in the fire? Do you panic? Do you fold? Or do you rise? Preparation isn't just about building your ability. It's about shaping your mindset. When you put in the work every day, pressure feels different. You don't see it as a threat. You see it as a stage to display the hours of training nobody saw. That calm under pressure comes from knowing you already paid the price in practice. Too many people want the reward without the responsibility. They want the stage without the struggle. They want the medal without the mile. But when the lights hit, pressure exposes them. That's why you see so many talented people fall short. Talent can get you opportunities, but only preparation allows you to seize them. Raw ability might open the door, but pressure will slam it shut if you haven't done the unseen work. You have to train like the test is tomorrow. That means staying sharp even when nobody's testing you. That means studying the material before the exam is even announced. That means practicing your craft before the opportunity even shows up. You don't wait until you get the job interview to start preparing your answers. You practice every day like the interview is coming. You don't wait until the business deal comes your way to start learning negotiation. You've been rehearsing in advance. Because when pressure arrives, it's too late to start building. That foundation must already be there. And let me be real with you. Pressure isn't the enemy. Pressure is the blessing. Pressure is the proof that you're growing. If you never feel pressure, it means you're playing too small. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Muscles grow under resistance. Minds sharpen under challenge. If you're feeling pressure, it's not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you're in the right place to get stronger. The question isn't whether pressure will come. The question is whether you'll be prepared enough to withstand it. Think about it. When pressure comes, it doesn't just reveal your preparation to the world, it reveals it to yourself. It shows you where you're solid and where you need to improve. Every test is feedback. Every stressful situation is an evaluation of your training. If you crumble, don't complain. Go back and train harder. If you handle it well, don't get arrogant. Keep preparing because bigger tests are on the way. That's the cycle. Prepare, face pressure, learn, and prepare again. And when you live this way, pressure stops being something you fear and becomes something you welcome. You stop praying for easy days and you start praying for the strength to handle whatever comes. You stop running from responsibility and you start chasing opportunities to test yourself. You stop being intimidated by pressure and you start using it as the proof that you're ready. That mindset only comes when preparation is your lifestyle, not a one-time thing. Failure is one of the most misunderstood parts of the journey. Most people see failure as the opposite of success, as a sign that they're not good enough, as evidence that they should quit. But failure isn't the end, it's training. Every single mistake, every time you fall short, every setback that knocks the wind out of you is a lesson disguised as pain. Champions don't run from failure. They embrace it, they study it, they learn from it, and they let it refine them. If you only want the wins and not the losses, you will never grow into the person you're supposed to be. Success is not built on avoiding failure. It's built on surviving it, adapting to it, and using it to sharpen your skills and your character. When you fail, the first thing you must understand is that the experience itself is a teacher. Failure shows you what doesn't work. It highlights your weaknesses. It exposes the cracks in your preparation. That's valuable information. Without failure, you never know where to improve. You walk around thinking you're flawless, but in reality, you be unprepared. Every failed attempt is like feedback, and feedback is essential to grow. Imagine a scientist running experiments. They don't call a test that doesn't work a failure. They call it data. And with that data, they adjust and try again. You must approach your life the same way. When something doesn't work out, instead of saying, I'm not good enough, start asking, what can I learn from this? What adjustments do I need to make? That's training. Failure also builds resilience. Think about a muscle. It doesn't grow until it's been torn down. The process of lifting weights literally breaks muscle fibers, and it's in the recovery that they come back stronger. Failure does the same thing for your character. It tears you down in the moment, but as you recover, as you rise again, you come back stronger, tougher, more experienced. People who never fail are fragile. The first time real adversity hits, they collapse because they've never been conditioned to it. But people who face failure repeatedly and kept getting back up, they are unshakable. That resilience becomes their greatest weapon. Another reason failure is training is because it humbles you. Nothing exposes pride like falling flat on your face. Sometimes failure is necessary to keep you grounded, to remind you that you still have more to learn. When everything is going right, it's easy to get arrogant, to think you've arrived, to believe you don't need growth. But failure reminds you that you're still in the process. And that humility keeps you hungry. It keeps you working. It keeps you from getting complacent. Champions don't let success make them lazy. They let failure keep them sharp. But here's the part most people miss. Failure is only useful if you respond to it the right way. If you quit after failure, you don't grow. If you make excuses, you don't improve. If you blame others, you miss the lesson. The right response is to own it, to study it, to extract the lesson, and to keep moving. That's how failure becomes training instead of tragedy. You can't let your ego get in the way of growth. You can't be so afraid of looking bad that you avoid trying. Every great achievement in history is built on a mountain of failures. The only reason we don't see them is because the world only celebrates the end result. But behind every gold medal, every invention, every business, every breakthrough, there are countless failures that served as stepping stones. The truth is, failure is inevitable. If you're really pushing yourself, if you're chasing something big, you will fail along the way. And that's a good thing. It means you're stretching beyond your comfort zone. It means you're attempting something worth doing. Playing safe might protect you from failure, but it will also protect you from growth. Staying in your comfort zone might keep you from falling, but it will also keep you from flying. The people who succeed at the highest level aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who are willing to fail over and over until they figure it out. You must learn to reframe failure. Stop calling it defeat and start calling it feedback. Stop calling it an ending and start calling it education. Every time you fail, you've just paid tuition to the school experience. And the more tuition you pay, the wiser you become. The scars you carry from your failures are proof that you've been in the fight. And every scar makes you stronger for the next battle. So don't fear failure and don't run from it. Don't hide your mistakes like they're shameful. Wear them like they're medals, because each one represents a lesson you survived. Don't let the fear of failing stop you from starting, because the truth is, failing is a necessary part of the process. It's how you get trained for greatness. Every time you stumble, every time you fall, every time you get knocked down, you're in training. Growth doesn't happen where it's comfortable. You don't get stronger by lifting weights that don't challenge you. You don't become faster by running at the same slow pace every day. You don't sharpen your mind by only doing what's easy. If you want to grow, if you want to level up, if you want to become the best version of yourself, you have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone and embrace discomfort. Training beyond comfort is the path to transformation. And that's why so many people never reach their full potential. They stop the moment it starts to hurt. They retreat the second they feel resistance. They quit when it gets uncomfortable, not realizing that discomfort is the very place where the growth they're chasing actually begins. Your comfort zone is like a cage. It's safe, it's familiar, it feels good, but it also keeps you trapped. Nothing new happens there. Nothing exciting, nothing transformative, nothing world-changing happens in comfort. Everything you admire in other people, their discipline, their strength, their courage, their achievements was built outside of comfort. They didn't get there by choosing the easy path. They got there by embracing the one that stretched them, and that's the mindset you must adopt. If it's uncomfortable, it's probably exactly where you need to be. Training beyond comfort doesn't just mean pushing your body. It means pushing your mind, your habits, your routines, your patience, forcing yourself to do what you don't feel like doing because deep down you know it's the right thing to do. It means staying up an extra hour to finish the project when your body wants to sleep. It means saying no to junk food when your cravings are screaming at you. It means waking up early to run when your bed feels too good to leave. Each time you choose discomfort over ease, you're expanding your capacity. You're teaching yourself that you're capable more than you thought. And here's the truth. Comfort never gave anyone greatness. Comfort never made someone a champion. Comfort never broke records, never created innovation, never built legacy. Every great breakthrough in history came from someone willing to go beyond what was comfortable. Think about it. Athletes breaking barriers, inventors creating what didn't exist, leaders pushing for change. They all embraced discomfort. They understood that progress always feels awkward, difficult, and sometimes painful at first. But that pain is temporary, while the growth it produces is permanent. You can't run from discomfort if you want to grow. You must learn to lean into it. The discomfort of discipline is far lighter than the discomfort of regret. Yes, waking up early is uncomfortable, but regret is worse. Training hard when you're tired is uncomfortable, but regret is worse. Making sacrifices when everyone else is having fun is uncomfortable, but regret is worse. Regret will haunt you, while discipline will build you. That's the trade-off. Every day you choose between temporary discomfort and lasting regret. Champions choose discomfort now so they can live without regret later. But training beyond comfort also requires a shift in perspective. Most people see pain and think it's a signal to stop. Champions see pain and think it's a signal they're in the right place. The soreness after a workout isn't a warning, it's proof you're growing. The frustration when you can't figure something out isn't failure, it's your brain stretching. The nerves before a big speech aren't weakness. They're a sign you're stepping into growth. You must learn to reframe discomfort as progress, not punishment. The most dangerous thing you can do is get too comfortable. Comfort breeds complacency, and complacency kills dreams. The moment you stop challenging yourself, you start shrinking. Life doesn't stay still. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no neutral ground. Comfort tricks you into thinking you're okay, when in reality, you're slowly declining. That's why you have to keep pushing. Even when you've achieved some success, even when things are going well, you can't settle. You must keep looking for the next level, the next challenge, the next mountain to climb. Because the moment you stop, life will pass you by. And let's be clear, going beyond comfort doesn't mean recklessness. It doesn't mean destroying yourself. It means stretching yourself intentionally day by day. It means setting goals that scare you a little. It means choosing the harder option when it would be easy to take the shortcut. It means testing your limits so those limits expand. Each time you push a little further, your comfort zone grows. What once felt impossible eventually becomes normal. That's how growth works. You normalize discomfort until it becomes part of your strength. So, don't be fooled by the illusion of ease. Easy won't get you where you want to go. Most people think training only applies to the gym, the field, or the classroom. They think it's about building one skill or one strength. But the truth is, every area of your life needs training. You can't just focus on one side of yourself and neglect the others, because eventually the imbalance will catch up to you. What good is it to have the strongest body in the world if your character is weak? What good is it to have intelligence and skill if your relationships are broken? No. What good is it to be disciplined in your career, but careless with your health? Real greatness requires you to train every part of who you are. Your mind, your body, your spirit, your character, your relationships, your work ethic, your patience, your gratitude. When every area is being trained, you become complete, balanced, and unstoppable. Let's be real. Too many people are one-dimensional. They put all their energy into one thing and let everything else slip. Some people grind hard at work, but destroy their families because they never train themselves to be present and loving. Some people are disciplined with money, but unhealthy in their bodies because they never train their habits in nutrition and exercise. Some people are brilliant in their minds, but toxic in their attitude because they never train gratitude or humility. You can't call that success. Success is not just about shining in one area. It's about strength in all areas. That's why you can't pick and choose what you train. You've got to train it all. Training every area of your life starts with self-awareness. You have to be honest with yourself about where you're strong and where you're weak. A lot of people avoid this because it's uncomfortable to admit where they fall short. But honesty is the foundation of growth. You can't fix what you won't face. If you know you're impatient, that means you need to start training patience. If you know you lack discipline, that means you need to start training self-control. If you know you get angry easily, that means you need to start training your emotional stability. Don't just celebrate your strengths. Confront your weaknesses and put them through training too. And understand this, training isn't just about skills, it's about character. Your talent might open the door, but your character will determine if you can stay in the room. How many people have we seen rise fast because of their gifts, only to crash because their character couldn't handle it? They never trained humility. They never trained integrity. They never trained discipline. You can't let your gifts take you to a place where your character can't sustain you. That's why training your character is just as important as training your craft. But don't stop there. Your relationships also need training. Being a good partner, parent, friend, or leader doesn't come automatically. You have to train yourself to listen, to communicate, to forgive, to serve. Relationships break down, not because people don't love each other, but because they don't train themselves to handle conflict, to show patience, to put the other person first. If you want strong relationships, you have to work on them daily the same way you work on your career or your fitness. Even your mindset needs daily training. Gratitude doesn't just happen. You have to train your eyes to focus on what you have instead of what you lack. Positivity doesn't just happen. You have to train your mind to see opportunities instead of obstacles. Resilience doesn't just happen. You have to train your thoughts to rise every time you fall. Every morning when you wake up, your mindset is either being trained towards strength or weakness, depending on what you feed it. Training in every area also means you stop making excuses like, oh, that's just how I am. No, who you are is shaped by what you train. If you're lazy, it's because you've been training laziness. If you're negative, it's because you've been training negativity. If you're inconsistent, it's because you've been training inconsistency. You can retrain any part of yourself if you're willing to put in the work. Change isn't magic. It's training. And if you can discipline yourself in one area, you can do it in another. It's important to understand that neglect in one area eventually affects all the others. You can't compartmentalize forever. If your health is weak, it will eventually slow down your work. If your character is weak, it will eventually sabotage your success. If your relationships are weak, it will eventually drain your energy and focus. That's why you must train holistically, not selectively. The stronger you become in every area, the more stable your foundation is for handling greater opportunities. And here's the beautiful part. Training one area makes you stronger in others. Training discipline in the gym carries over to discipline in your finances. Training patience in your relationships carries over to patience in your career. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they have time. They put off their goals, their dreams, their disciplines because they assume tomorrow will be there waiting for them. But life doesn't work like that. Tomorrow isn't promised. Opportunities don't wait forever, and tests don't announce themselves in advance. That's why you have to live like the test is tomorrow. You have to prepare with urgency, as if the moment you've been waiting for is right around the corner. Because when it finally arrives, you won't get an extra warning. You'll either be ready or you won't. And readiness doesn't come from wishing. It comes from training every day with the mindset that your breakthrough could happen at any second. Most people lose because they train casually. They act like they have years to get ready, so they take shortcuts, they procrastinate, they say, I'll do it later. Then the opportunity comes, the pressure hits, and they fail. Not because they weren't capable, because they weren't prepared. The moment demanded their best, but they gave it their leftovers. You can't afford to live like that. You can't gamble with your future, waiting until the last second to get serious. You have to move with urgency now because you don't know when your name will be called. Living like the test is tomorrow means you don't skip the little things. You don't say, it's just one day, it won't matter. No, every day matters, every decision matters. Every rep, every choice, every habit is part of your training. The problem is, people think they can turn it on and off whenever they want. They think they can slack today and still be ready tomorrow. But excellence doesn't work like a switch. It works like a lifestyle. You can't expect championship results with a part-time work ethic. You have to live ready so that when the test comes, you don't need to get ready. You already are. And let's be honest, the test doesn't always come when it's convenient. Sometimes it shows up when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you feel least prepared. That's why daily preparation is non-negotiable. You don't know when life will demand your best. So you have to train like it's always around the corner. Think about a firefighter. They don't wait for the alarm to start learning how to use the hose. They train every single day like the fire could break out at any moment. And when it does, they're ready to respond. That's the mindset you need. Train like the fire is coming. Train like the test is tomorrow. Urgency changes the way you work. When you act like the deadline is years away, you move slow, distracted, and half-hearted. But when you believe the test is tomorrow, you cut out distractions. You stop wasting time. Wasting time, you lock in on what matters. Urgency creates focus. It gives you intensity. It forces you to stop procrastinating and start producing. That's why people who live with urgency accomplish more in months than others do in years. Because they don't delay, they act. Living like the test is tomorrow also means you don't wait for motivation. You don't wait till feel ready, because feelings are unreliable. You wake up and execute regardless of how you feel, because you understand the test won't care about your excuses. When the moment comes, nobody's going to ask if you're tired, if you're stressed, or if you weren't in the mood. The test will simply reveal whether you put in the work or not. That's why every day has to be treated as if it could be your day of reckoning. And here's the truth. If you prepare daily with that urgency, when the real test comes, you won't panic. You'll have peace. You'll have peace? Because deep down, you'll know you did everything you could. That confidence doesn't come from talent. It comes from preparation. It comes from waking up every day and refusing to waste a single opportunity to train. It comes from making decisions with urgency, as if your future depends on it, because it does. Too many people regret later what they neglected earlier. They look back wishing they had trained harder, wishing they had started sooner, wishing they had taken things more seriously. Don't let that be you too. Don't let your future self look back at your present self with disappointment. Live with the urgency now. Train like the test is tomorrow. Work like the opportunity is tomorrow. Push like the breakthrough is tomorrow. Because if it is, you'll be ready. And if it's not, then when it finally comes, you'll be unstoppable. The truth is, none of us knows how much time we have. None of us knows when life will throw us the biggest challenge or the biggest opportunity. Well, we do know this. Every day we waste, we can't get back. Every chance we miss, it doesn't return. That's why urgency is everything. That's why you must approach each day as if everything depends on it, because one day it will.